Safeguarding financial assets. This is one that I see come up a lot from this particular standpoint that I'm going to open with. And it's the spouse that has been financially controlled and they've been financially micromanaged. And they are so concerned that if they file their divorce case and once their husband or wife gets served, that they are going to just cut them off
Yeah.
completely financially. They're going to take credit cards away. They're going to stop depositing the money in the joint account and they're going to make life miserable on them to where they cannot pay for anything, much less an
Put
attorney.
gas in the car. I can't feed my kids.
And it's amazing how many people are out there in those type of situations where they are just that micromanaged and controlled, not only emotionally, but also financially.
Financially.
So every time I see that fact pattern in front of me, I hope and I pray that the answer to the next question I'm going to ask them is yes. And the question that I ask is, what money do you have access to right now? Do you have access to any sum of money in a bank account that you can go ahead and take out to use as a safety blanket if that person cuts you off?
Right.
And most of the time, clients will take that advice. Sometimes they don't. They always wish they would. And the example I'll give is very recent. It was a female client representing the wife in this case. Husband was financially controlling, and she had access to a couple $100,000 in her bank account. And I told her before we file this case, go into that account and take out half. Leave the other half in there for him.
Mhm.
Now, don't go out and spend it on jewelry, vacation, new car. You're holding on to that. You're safeguarding that money. You're preserving it. But if he cuts you off once we file this case, now you've got to pull money that you can pull from
It's a
to
lifeline.
pay for your personal expenses. So that is a big tip on what you can do to safeguard the assets. And keep in mind, if you're in that type of situation where your spouse is financially controlling and you've got access to that money, we're going to get a hearing. You don't have to spend that money down. We can get something called a temporary hearing in your divorce case where the judge, within a period of 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the county, a judge will set a court date for you to come in and have a temporary hearing to get a temporary order in place that makes your spouse pay for the expenses they've historically paid. So if they've historically paid for the mortgage and utilities and given you money for gas and clothing and, going to the salon, whatever your personal expenses are, the judge will put an order in place that requires your spouse to continue to contribute to you financially. But between now and the time we get in court, it's always nice if you've got that money to fall back on if your spouse has cut you off.
Sure. And if you are that spouse that isn't the controlling one, right? You're just being controlled. Remember that just because you don't have a debit card does not mean you don't have access to an account.